Good afternoon and welcome to On Air. I'm Hazel Urquhart.
And I'm Agatha Latorre. Research suggests that young Scottish people are not eating as healthily as they should. Sandrine Wyrich reports.
Current studies indicate that 16 to 24-year-old Scots only eat 2.6 out of their 5 a day. Students can find it difficult to take in their 5 a day and maintain a healthy, balanced diet.
Yeah, I think with students it's really an issue because most of them got no time to eat healthy. For example, just now I'm going to university and I just packed my bag with a banana and some fruit, but it's not possible to do this every day because first of all, fruit and vegetables are very expensive, and for a student it's not possible to eat healthy every day. And also because sometimes there is no time to prepare everything for going out a day, and yeah, it's difficult to eat healthy every day when you're a student.
The university canteen discovered the problem and hence tries to promote healthy eating and give students the opportunity to get fruits and vegetables while their lunch break.
It's maybe a lack of knowledge. There's certainly enough food from a healthy aspect to put out on the counters for the students to eat, so it really does just come down to them having the knowledge and picking the right things to eat to keep themselves healthy and to get all the food types that they need in a day. Well, we do advertise healthy eating as part of the university's eating plan. There's a health counter that is all healthy foods, well, much lower salts and saturated fats and bad things for students to eat. But really it comes down to students kind of old enough to look after themselves and should be able to choose the right foods to eat.
This takes us over to the student residence where healthy eating is also an issue.
I think some people will be eating very healthily because they'll be looking after themselves and maybe had a bit of guidance as well from parents and whatever. Others are maybe not. I think a lot of students traditionally do eat a lot of pizza and we see delivery vans arriving. But I think that's part of, I think it's a two-way thing. As a parent myself, I sort of see it as a two-way thing. Peer pressure from other students and other young people that, you know, you must have a takeaway, you must have a Domino's pizza. You can't just have a pizza from the local supermarket. There's a lot of peer pressure there, which then makes them probably eat not as healthily as they could do.
It is obvious to many that healthy eating is an issue among students. Initiatives to promote a balanced diet have been taken and look to improve students' eating habits. This has been Sandrine Wyrich for UWS News.
Thank you, Sandrine. Despite Scotland's football team being at one of its lowest points in the past 10 years, one team go above and beyond to encourage youth development. Calum Fisher investigates.
Youth development is always a hot topic in Scottish football, and it's particularly relevant after the national team failed to qualify for yet another international tournament. We're here at the Super Seal Stadium to speak to Hamilton boss Martin Canning about how his club are spearheading the way for youth development in Scotland.
There's a lot of good young kids, I think, right the way through the academy. Every age group, it's something we've done well over the last probably 5 or 6 years, is continue to bring players through, and it's something that I'll always do in the first team. I'll always leave a path for these kids to get through, and don't get me wrong, there was times, particularly last season, I probably brought in 2 or 3 players that I didn't need to bring in to try and buy the good kids maybe a year to develop and not put too much pressure on them to come in and play straight away, and that'll be the case again. I think you look at Greg Docherty now, you look at Amy McGhee, you look at Scott McMahon, these kids have all had that year. Last season, Greg done exceptionally well getting the team and go and compete for a place. Amy and Scott struggled a little bit and got in more so towards the end of the season. This season they've both contributed well. You've got young Stephen Boyd out on at Albion Rovers, who's a big talent as well. Like you say, after that you've got Ronan Hughes, you've got Ross Cunningham, Ryan Tierney coming through. In every age group there's probably 3 or 4 there that are doing really, really well. And there's a group of them as well that are all determined. And youth football's strange that way. You can look at kids and think, in your head you're thinking, right, he's got a real chance, he's got a wee chance, and then somebody else comes out the pack that surprises you as well and develops a little bit later than the rest.
So what does the Hamilton manager think of this season? And in particular, what does he think about Hamilton's infamous poor home record?
I don't know, we do nothing different at home and away. I think when you look at it, I think we've been a bit unfortunate this season in particular. Home form, we've not picked up as many wins as we would like. We've won 2, but I think when you look at the game, we could potentially have won maybe 4 of them, maybe 5. So it's just a case, and you probably know yourselves covering the league, it's such a tight league between ourselves and maybe another half a dozen teams. There's very little in it. There's so little between the teams that can take one moment either way, can win, you lose your game. So it's just a case, like I say, is just try to be as best prepared as you can be and try and win games. Yeah, it's something we spoke about. I think it does. You want to, obviously you want to play poorly and win if you can, but there's going to come a point when you play poorly and maybe not pick up points deservedly. So I think when you are playing well, there's such a big emphasis on winning games. When it's something that's probably the only thing this season I'm a bit disappointed with, because the levels of performance, the attitude, everything that I would like to see is there. It's just maybe being that little bit more clinical and putting the ball in the back of the net. And it really is a ruthlessness. It's making sure that when you get the chance, you go and put it away, and it changes the momentum of the game as well. And for us, it's something we haven't done well enough this year.
And finally, what are Martin Canning's aims for his Hamilton side for the rest of this season?
The main aim obviously is to make sure we stay in the league, and from there I believe with the quality we've got in the squad at the minute we're capable of pushing up, but first and foremost we've got to make sure we go and do our job and remain in the Premier League. And if we can do that, like I say, on the budget we work with and the size of the club, it will be an achievement again. I think this would make it 4 in a row if we can stay up this year, which I think would be the most in Hamilton's history, or recent history anyway. So it's a big year for us. We're working hard, and we know for us one thing we've got to do is it's my job to make sure I get the right mix and change of guys that know what this club's all about and know when you're coming here you've got to work hard, you've got to buy into what we do, and that's what gives us a chance to hopefully stay in the league.
Thank you, Calum. Hair and makeup salons have increased in popularity amongst young women across the country. Our reporter Corinne Hall looks into what the new makeup salon HMC in Ayr has to offer.
After about a year, my freelance I was doing that 10 times more than my actual real job.
I've been working as a hairdresser since I was 13, and about October time Holly approached me to come and work for HMC.
It was the week I turned 19. I quit my job, my real job, and got my keys and everything like that, and we just started from there. It took about 3 weeks to get everything ready, and then we just went for it and opened. We were open by Halloween time, and we had a proper opening night on the 3rd of November, and it's now about 4 weeks later, so it's going well so far. Busy, but good. It was the 3rd of November, wasn't it?
During the week we focus more on colours and cuts, and then at the weekend we do a lot of hair ups, blow dries and wedding parties and stuff.
Yeah, so we're just something totally different to Ayr and South Ayrshire. There is no makeup studio, blow dry bar around here.
I think like a salon in here like this is so good for like the younger generation, because there's never really been anything to get your hair and makeup done at the same time.
I don't really think there's any other shops and stuff round about here.
We've obviously got the whole kind of blow dry bar idea, like with all the like complimentary cocktails and things like that, so we've got all that in there too. So
it works really well with the makeup girls, so it's a really good package.
Getting your makeup done and stuff just gives you like that extra thrill before a night out. Every time you come into the shop you can have a drink.
It's a really good atmosphere. All the girls are young, so you really get like a good feel when you come into the place. You can sit and have a drink.
But it's such a trend now at the weekends to come and get your blow dries and your makeup done and everything like that before you go out. Like girls will go out without it now.
It's just a really good place to come.
You always get a laugh. And do you know what? There's nobody else in this world that deserves a makeup shop as much as Holly, because her talents are absolutely phenomenal.
Keep recording me.
I get to feel like across on people for a job, it's not so bad.
And I'm looking into it and then I'm like,
there's nothing like
Research is to be carried out to establish the link between heading a football and dementia. This follows the announcement that the Celtic and Scotland legend Billy McNeill has been suffering from the disease. Matt Bryan reports.
Celtic Football Club this week learned that their greatest ever captain, Billy McNeill, has dementia. A legend renowned for his bravery and courage is now suffering the mental illness. There's a story that Billy McNeill used to header the ball 50 times a day in order to improve his technique. The question being asked now, are the long-term effects of heading a football linked to dementia? Alzheimer's Scotland, a charity for those affected by the illness, believe the two are connected.
It's very clear to us that there is a growing body of evidence that there is some connection to football and dementia. Now we think that that's a particular type of dementia, and we think there needs to be more study into that.
I mean, somebody's got to head the ball, you know, to obviously improve his game. And if you maybe draw parallels with the likes of Bobby Moore, who played a similar position, and it wouldn't just be possibly football, it could also then lead to further research into sports like rugby and head injuries, concussions and such like. So I would fully support further research being done.
The call for research into the matter is also being backed by Parliament. MP Dr Lisa Cameron says, "There are some calls to prevent children up to the age of 12 from heading the ball during this significant period of brain development. Footballs have changed dramatically, however, current research is needed to make sure decisions are valid. Expert opinion must be sought to guide safety regulations and subsequent policy development." Matt Bryan reporting for On Air, Glasgow.
So Matt, how serious is this issue?
Well, there's clearly an overwhelming call for the research to be carried out into dementia and linking it with football. And I think you can see there that that's coming from some of the biggest charities like Alzheimer's Scotland, who work closely with the families. And of course that highlights how serious it is, and that's how close to home it is as well. For all these people. I do believe it is sad though that it takes the public knowledge of someone like Billy McNeill to obviously have dementia and someone of his stature, to actually highlight this kind of issue and bring the research into question, because that's a condition that affects over 850,000 people in the UK that actually have dementia.
Wow. And do you think that this news of the ex-footballer has actually increased awareness of the disease?
I believe so, because it is about heading the football primarily. Billy McNeill was a centre half. He was a defender, and a big part of his game is heading the ball and being brave and going into the air and actually challenging. And so heading the ball is a massive part of his game. I think that that's the kind of issue here. We want to establish if that is linked to developing dementia at a later age. Of course, at the time, Billy McNeill's heading a lot heavier footballs, and that itself is developed in the game. But I did mention the package. He used to practice heading the football 50 times a day to improve his technique. Wow. And of course, so that's having an effect, some kind of long-term impact on having it. And of course, one of my interviewees mentions the comparison to Bobby Moore, who's a similar position with the disease. I mean, of course, but also going back to Billy McNeill, he made over 850 appearances in his career. So, I mean, and even his wife has came out publicly as well and saying that she wants more research carried out into the matter just to protect people in the future.
And how seriously are people affected by this?
Well, football in this country is huge. It's the most popular sport in Scotland and the UK. Thousands of young people are involved in the game, and it's said that each player in a competitive match will header the ball between 6 and 12 times during a match, and of course they train as well. So I mean, it is a big part, but of course it's affecting a lot of people because obviously parents have a responsibility then, and there's just different things being proposed about limitations in heading the ball. But of course we need to get the research carried out to establish the effects first of all before we make any kind of changes in laws or to the game for young people there. But of course we've coaches as well that have responsibility for the players. I've since spoken with an ex-professional footballer on this matter, and obviously he's kind of bringing the relation that footballers are employees just like anybody else, and of course our coaches, staff, they have a responsibility and a duty of care to look after them. So if we find out that there is some kind of effect on heading the ball and dementia and developing that later on in their life, then of course we need to put the correct measures in to protect them.
The Air Station Hotel has been put up for sale, and locals are hopeful that a new buyer may renovate the town's iconic building. Our very own Agatha Latorre went out earlier this week to take a look.
Since its sudden close in 2013, the iconic Air Station Hotel has been abandoned for over 4 years, and now it's finally on sale. We'll speak with Councillor Brian McGinley to know more about it.
Well, the hotel has been vacant for a number of years. It's an old building, an old established building, quite iconic in the town because of its location and its history. But it hasn't been invested in for a number of years, and it reflects badly on the town. And I'm determined to try and get something done about it.
Besides of not being used, the hotel has been deteriorating with the years and has become a safety problem.
We can't allow this to continue the way it is, and we need to do something about it. So if that means private investment, fine. If it needs some other investment to unlock the potential, then we'll do that too.
We asked some of the locals what do they think about the future of this iconic building.
Well, I think it would be a good thing because it's going to rack and ruin at the moment. It's in a terrible mess. Victorian facade with a Gothic roof, so they can't pull it down. So somebody's going to have to take it over. It's just a bit of an eyesore and a talking point for a lot of people.
Yes, it'd be good to have it, some repair work done on it. It was very popular hotel at one time. When I came to here at first, that's about 30 years ago, and it was very busy. But it hasn't been used for years.
While the hotel still doesn't have a potential buyer, it is finally up for sale and hopefully will be running up again soon. This is Agatha Latorre for On Air in Air. Now over to the news with Liam Menzies.
Thank you, Agatha and Hazel. The ever-controversial President Trump is set to make an appearance in Scotland, despite several protests wanting to keep the reality star and business guru out of the country. Olivia Armstrong reports on the public outcry to stop his state visit.
No fear. Donald Trump's not welcome here.
With the announcement today that Donald Trump's state visit to the UK has been delayed yet again, protests all over the UK and Scotland have erupted, stating that they don't believe that the US President should be allowed to come here based on his principles.
To take root in our country. We're not going to allow it.
Multiple protests in Scotland have called for the US President to be banned from Scotland after his acclaimed racist practices following the controversial Muslim ban. UK Prime Minister Theresa May has been criticised by many for allowing the plans for a state visit to go ahead for the American President despite the controversy surrounding his moral practices. An online petition calling for Mr Trump not to make a state visit was signed by over 1.8 million people. Despite this, it has been informed that the visit will go ahead. We spoke to some students at the University of the West of Scotland to try and gauge their opinions on whether they believe that the President should be allowed to make a state visit to the UK.
I'd rather Trump didn't get a state visit. I think Scotland being the progressive left-leaning country that it is shouldn't allow fascists and people who hold such backwards views to be allowed into the country.
Should be allowed to come here because he is, after all, the US leader, and this is Scotland, is a free country, and he should be allowed to be here even though people are against him. Me included, I don't share any of his political views, but I think it's just fair that he comes around.
No, because I think we should I already think we should distance ourselves from America and all this shit that wars they keep dragging us into. I mean, better presidents, not good presidents, but better presidents drag us into wars.
With the controversy of the state visit growing ever closer, time will only tell what the reaction will be. Olivia Armstrong, UWS News, Ayr.
Thanks, Olivia. More Scottish authorities have agreed to put up council tax bills, with many voting for 3% rises. Cara Houston went out and asked people in Ayr what they thought about the new increases.
Following Ayrshire council tax rise, we spoke to some locals to find out their opinions. So what do you think about Ayrshire council tax rises?
Well, I think it's alright because they're trying to cut services.
What about little
so if we're going to pay more, we need to pay more.
So do you think it's reasonable them putting it up?
Yeah.
Do you think it'll affect people majorly?
I don't know. I suppose poorer people will affect them, I think.
So how do you feel about the Ayrshire council tax rise?
Well, I think it's unnecessary. Mine's gone up about, I think it's just, I own some flats, so it's gone up quite a bit. Not just for my own house, but everything I own.
Do you think it's going to affect a lot of younger people who are going to need to pay?
I don't think so, no.
Do you think it'll affect older people more?
Affect most of the, pensioners, people like that, yeah. I don't think so.
Well, I think it is quite sobering when you know you're going to have to find a lot more money every month. But I've always believed that people should pay their taxes, and if you can afford to pay it, then that's what we should be doing. And obviously council services are really important. I used to work in social work, so that's another big thing. So care of older people, I think is really important. So I think it's really, it will be hard for older people.
Thank you, Cara. Sticking with reactions in the economy, the Conservatives unveiled their budget as many MPs claim the government is in disarray. Amy McGhee checked to see how the public are reacting over the infamous announcement.
On March 8th, the Chancellor of the Exchequer, Philip Hammond, announced the annual spring budget. While some think the cuts are severe, the Conservative Party in Scotland believe the cuts will help the Scottish people. These are just some of the ways they say it will help. I've been speaking to young Scottish people from in and around Glasgow about their views on the cuts and what it means for Scotland.
I don't think there's any reason to believe this, because after so many promises that UK governments give us, I don't see why we should put any trust in this promise to Scotland. I mean, they promised after the referendum so many things that they never delivered on, and they promised so many different things throughout the thing. So I don't think there's any reason to believe or put any faith in this, to be honest.
Kirsty Haddle, a 20-year-old biomedical student from Motherwell, told me about her views on the cuts affecting the town. Motherwell is already in desperate need of renovation. It's not been able to attract any big businesses in recent years. Lots of pawn shops, pound shops and bookies really show the state of Motherwell and the smaller towns. Amy McGhee for On Air in Motherwell.
Thank you, Amy. That's all from me. I'm Liam Menzies. Back to you, Hazel and Agatha.
That's all from us here at On Air. Thank you for joining us. I am Agatha Latorre.
And I'm Hazel Urquhart. Goodbye, and we'll see you next time.